Hi everyone and welcome to my September TBR game for Cat-Walk TBR. So I am excited to get into the fall edition of my Cat-Walk TBR board. So let's go ahead and get started. Just as a reminder, I will no longer be taking a punishment for not finishing a previous month's TBR. There's no need to punish, life just happens. So I'm not going to worry about that. We'll start with 5 rolls, and of course there are ways to get additional rolls, which means additional prompts to try to fulfill, which I'll just go over that as we go along. So let's go ahead and get right into the game, and I'm excited to start the fall Cat-Walk TBR. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and figure out where on the board I will be starting, anywhere from space number 1 to space number 30. So I have the random number generator on my phone, and let's figure out where we're going to be starting. On number 5. Okay, so space number 5 is right down here. And now let's go ahead and start the rolls to see what prompts we will be getting. All right, roll number 1. All right, we're already starting off with adding another, so instead of 5 prompts, we're doing 6 prompts because we got a double. And it's 2 3s, so we're moving 6 spots. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Grateful for this is a random picture generator. This is on space number 11, so we need to mark space number 11. Hopefully this pen's dark enough so you can see the tally. I won't know until I go back to edit it. And then this is for the prompt grateful for. So again, this is random picture generator, and we'll add our first tally there. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a random picture generator. As you can see, it is loading. Nope, it's not loading. Here we go. I didn't touch it. Okay. Okay, so that's when I just opened the app. So now we're going to generate the picture to see what book I have to pick. So that's the image. It's actually a pretty nice image. So there's a fence, there's clouds, and a field. So we'll kind of see how that goes. I'll take a screenshot of that so I can pick the book. And what we need to do as well is I need to pick a color that has to be on the cover of the book. And again, if I find a book that matches the picture, but I can't find a book that not only matches the picture but has this color, it splits into 2 prompts, because then I have to find a book that has this color on there, and that's for every single prompt during the game. So, all right. So it's kind of a peachy color, so it's number 9241 is I guess the official color. All right, so I just got back from the library. Let's talk about, we'll go into more detail about said prompts and what books I picked, and I'll read the synopsises and we will go over things, because there are a couple things to go over. Now, first things first, there is a readathon in September that I would like to maybe possibly try to participate in. I did find this one on Twitter. I'm on Twitter just to see about news for some readathons I wouldn't hear of otherwise. And this is one of them, and it is called the Monsters University Readathon. So it's taken out an adaptation, or it's based on the movie of the Monsters Inc. series, this particular one being Monsters University. I like that series. I like Monsters Inc. I like Monsters University. So I am more than happy to try to participate in this readathon. However, the prompts will not be released until September 1st. So I don't know what books I have selected for the month of September will work for the Monsters University readathon, or if I'm going to have to try to add on books. Just very low key. My priority is the books that I select for the September Cat-Walk TBR, but we'll see. It would be fun to try to participate. So prompt number 1 is the gratitude list, something I'm grateful for. What do you do when you're grateful for something? You want to cherish it. You take pictures. You're grateful for your family. You take pictures of your family. You write about it in your journal. So this was a random picture generator. I did take a screenshot of it, so let me just... I know you will have seen it, and I'm sure you remember what it is, but... So it is this image. Oop, come on. Enlarge. There we go. It's kind of like a field. You've got some dark, ominous clouds. You've got a bit of the sun hitting it, and then a fence. So, okay, what can I do that will work for that? So and then the color that I drew for that was number 9241, which is like this kind of peachy color. All right, so what can I do for this? Can I find a book that will fit both of these? Will fit the prompt and the color? Yes, I did find a book. So let's start with the prompt. So the random picture, there's a field. There is a fence right back here between my two fingers. I'm not sure you're going to be seeing that, but there is a fence there. You have the clouds and the yellow hitting the clouds. I'm saying this matches the picture pretty dang well. So this is Fall from Pride, written by Harper. As far as the color goes, there are pebbles down here that several of them match this color. It just gets a little different with the ring light on it, but looking at it with the naked eye, holy cow, it matches. It is very close, if not like maybe one shade off. It is extremely close, if not spot on. And then, you know, you could even try to go like with the sky here a little bit. So I'm saying that works. Close enough. So this one says, against the peaceful night sky, a barn burns. Had to make sure this was recording. Okay. Sarah Kaufman sought permission from her church elders to paint murals on a few of the Amish community's barns. Each was designed like an old-fashioned quilt square, representing a piece of the Amish traditions Sarah loved. The works of art were intended to draw more tourists to the home valley in the struggling economy, but instead they invited a menace. One by one, each barn is set ablaze and destroyed. The arson fires spread fear through the community, amongst Amish and Englishires alike. Now, Sarah wonders if she's being punished for her pridefulness, or whether there's a more malevolent will at work. As an outsider, arson investigator Nate McKenzie struggles to investigate the crime scenes while adhering to Amish ways. With Sarah as his guide, he warms to the plain people and their simple ways. As the fires rage, beliefs are challenged, a way of life is questioned, and family secrets are exposed. In the aftermath of the destruction, the people of the home valley must join together to raise their barns and their hopes for the future. Sounds good. So I got this one from, I think, either a used, it doesn't have a library sticker, so a used book sale, or I think it was like a free little library. I don't remember. But this is my selection. All right, let's go for prompt number 2. Okay, we're moving 10 spots, so 6 at a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Halloween Party. Book that has 2 or more people on the cover, I believe. All right, so Halloween Party, yes, 2 or more people on the cover. First tally there, and this is on box number 21. And now let's go ahead and so another kind of cool tone, more very pale greenish peach, but the official number color is 4545. So people on the cover, and it has to have this color. So prompt number 2 is Halloween Party. This is a book that has 2 or more people on the cover. Does not need to be like flesh and blood like you and me. This could be I would consider mermaid because she's half human, or a centaur because, you know, or even an animated character. Doesn't matter. 2 people. Doesn't matter if it's just their heads. It can't really be one arm and one arm because that would be considered, that could be considered as one person. But if there's like 2 arms reaching for one hand, then yes, I would consider that because I don't know of anyone that has 3 arms. So for this one, oh, and the color selection for that was number 4545, which is this kind of greeny olive, yellowy, peachy color. I don't know how to describe it. It's just number 4545. So this is the color. I was able to find a book that fulfills the color and the prompt. So I'm going with The Paris Seamstress, written by Natasha Lester. As far as the color goes, in the background behind these 2 women here, there's a silhouette of the Eiffel Tower, there's a city line, and it dang well matches. And yeah, it's yeah, it's like spot on. It just looks a little different just because of how the ring light hits it, but it is spot on. So definitely fits both the color and the official prompt. It says, now this is going to be in a dual timeline. We have 1940 and the present day. So in 1940 it says, as the Germans advance on Paris, young seamstress Estella Bisset is forced to flee everything she's ever known. She's bound for New York City with her signature gold dress, a few francs, and a dream to make her mark on the world of fashion. And then present day it says, Fabienne, I don't know how to say her name, Bisset journeys to the Met's annual gala for an exhibit featuring the work of her ailing grandmother, a legend in women's fashion design. But as Fabienne begins to learn more about her beloved grandmother's past, she uncovers a story of tragedy, heartbreak, and family secrets that will dramatically change the course of her own life. So it sounds really good, and it'll be good to get a sweet historical type fiction book on there. So, okay. I'm enjoying this board so far. All right. Prompt number 3. Okay, if the dice goes out a second time, then we're adding 1 on, so let's hope that does not happen again. And it did, so we're adding another roll. Let's see. So those obviously don't count. Dang it. Try being a little lighter with the toss because I don't want to add another one due to that. There we go. Okay, 11. That was close, but if that happens again during the game, then it's another one. Okay, so 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Study time. So this is a library book. So I do need to go to the library, which I will do that after I've got the rest of the prompts, and then I'll obviously come back and tell you what book I picked. So I may just do 1 book from the library, but depending on the color, I may end up with 2 books from the library for September. Okay, this is more of a tannish, a very light tannish brown, so the official number is 466. So I need to try to find a library book that has this color on the cover, and one that I obviously want to read. So for this one, the color that I got to go with this particular book was prompt is number 466, which is this kind of tan. Yeah, it's kind of a tan. Anyway, so my rule or my thought process when I get the library is to go to the library, and the first book my eye is drawn to that I go, ooh, I am interested in reading that. That is the selection for the library book. So then I have to see, will the color match the book? And in this case, the color did not. So the book that my eye was drawn to, I checked this out a while ago and then I returned it because I ran out of renewals. So it'll be good to have this earlier on my TBR, and I hope to get to this one because I am so interested in this. And it is a romance, and it is called Witch Please. It is the first in a series. I don't know what the series is called, but I do know it's the first one. I did double check that the first time I checked it out. So I do know it's the first one. And I checked it out again today just to be more than double for sure. So Witch Please, written by Aguirre. This one says, Danica Waterhouse is a fully modern witch. After a messy breakup, Danica makes a pact with her cousin. They'll keep their hearts protected and have fun without involving the overly opinionated and meddlesome Waterhouse matriarchs. Titus Winokur has family trouble of his own. After a tragic loss, all he's got is his sister, his bakery, sugar daddies, and a romantic curse that he's convinced has left him doomed to be alone. Until he meets Danica. The sparks are instant, their attraction irresistible. For him, she's the one. To her, he's forbidden fruit. Can a modern witch find love with an old-fashioned mundane who refuses to settle for anything less than forever? So it sounds really good. I'm definitely interested in this, and romances tend to be very light and quick. And I actually really do enjoy the romances, so I am excited for this one. So I had to find a different library book that will fulfill the color prompt. So the book that I picked from the library that will fulfill this color is called Books of Blood, written by Clive Barker. Cleve or Clive, I'm not positive on how to say it, but it is volume number 1, and there is an image on here that says it's a Hulu original film. So after I read the book, I may see if I can find this, see if it's still on Hulu. And this is a horror book. So Books of Blood, volume 1, and this color is integrated because it's like this person's head turns into an open book. Really interesting, and this color is located in several parts within the book portion of this man's, where his face should be, but it's a book, so it is there. So it definitely matches, and it is extremely spot on, if not spot on. So this one says, and now I did not read the synopsis, I'm like, okay, the cover matches, and it's a volume 1, so I'm getting it. Okay, so let's find out what this is about. It says, everybody is a book of blood. Wherever we're opened, we're red. Like the color red. Get it? Is this your blood? All right. In this tour de force collection of brilliantly disturbing tales, so it's a collection of short stories. Okay. Clive Barker combines the extraordinary with the ordinary, bringing to life our darkest nightmares with stories that both seduce and devour. As beautiful as they are terrible, the pages of this volume are stained with unsettling imagery, macabre humor, and visceral dread. Here, then, are the stories written on the Book of Blood. Read, if it pleases you, and learn. This volume includes The Book of Blood, The Midnight Meat Train, The Yattering and Jack, Pig Blood Blues, Sex, Death, and Starshine, In the Hills, The Cities. So 6? Is it just 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so just 6 short stories. So, yeah, I think that'll be interesting. So I am definitely intrigued, more so by the cover than anything. All right. So now we're going to figure prompt number 4. Okay, moving 8 spots. So 6 and a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fright time. Oh, I forgot to mark. Study time was on spot number 2. And we need to do a tally underneath study time. I almost completely forgot that. Okay, so we landed on Fright Time, which is a horror, thriller, or a mystery book. I have plenty of options for those. And that is on spot number 10. So add a tally there. Okay, color. Yellow. This is kind of a pretty yellow. I'm sure I can find something. Although horrors, maybe there's a light in a window or something. They do tend to have darker colors instead of these bright, pretty colors. but officially color number 100, which is a yellow. So horror, mystery, or thriller needs to have this color on there somewhere. Okay, so prompt number 4 is Fright Time. This is to read a book that has to be a horror, a mystery, or a thriller. A horror, thriller, mystery can be any combination. It could be a science fiction horror, as long as horror is one of the top 2 to 3 tags. Same thing with thriller or mystery. So the color that this is supposed to go with, that I drew for this, is number 100, which is this kind of a bright, cheery yellow to go with a horror book. I am going with a horror, and I am going with The Girl from Rawblood, written by Catriona, I don't know, Ward. I'm not quite sure how to say the first name. Catriona Ward. So the yellow, as you can see, is actually in the title. Spot on color match there. Very happy. Yeah, I mean, spot on to like the naked eye. So definitely, I'm glad I don't have to split this up into 2. Okay, so The Girl from Rawblood, it says, a curse, generations of loss, and the girl poised to bring an end to it all. At the turn of England's century, young Iris Villarca walks the lonely halls of Rawblood. They are haunted by her, a curse passed down in ancient blood that marks each Villarca for certain heartbreak, even death, and Iris is the last of her family's line. Iris forsakes her promise to her father to remain alone, swaddled in Rawblood's walls with its unspoken secrets. She dares to fall in love, and the consequences of her choice are immediate and terrifying. As her world shatters into a kaleidoscope of memory, vengeance, and terror, she must take a final journey back to Rawblood, where it all began, and where it must all end. Gothic novel. Darkness, enduring love, and the ghosts of the past. I'm sure there's a path in there somewhere, but past. So, Girl from Rawblood. Alright, sounds good. Alright, well, it would have been the last prompt, but is not because of the dice popping out and that one double. Moving on to prompt number 5. We are moving 7 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, another study time. So another library book. This one is number 17, square number 17, which is right here. But this is the second time within this gameplay of getting study time, which means it's a double prompt, which we're adding one on. So, double prompt. So we're now up to 8 prompts. All right, we need to get another color, so I'll end up with anywhere from 2 to 4 books from the library for the month of September now. Okay, we're just gonna go with this top one. So a gray, warm gray, number 2. This should be fairly easy. I think this color tends to pop up quite a bit. So this is the second time I've landed on story time. So again, library book. The color that I was supposed to find a book for was warm gray, number 2. So it's just it's kind of like a slate type gray. I did not. The first book I was drawn to that I was like, oh, I want to read that. That's my checkout slip. These books are due back. I'll be able to renew them. Anyway. Alright, so the book that I was drawn to, and this is the first book in a series, I believe, called The Secret Scientists of London. This is a lady's formula for love. So as you can see, gray is not on here. There's a white and kind of a very faded skyish blue, and then there's the blue and the pinks. So anyway, written by Elizabeth Everett. So a lady's formula for love. The quote on the back says, fiercely feminist and intensely romantic. So if you like feminist books, then you maybe, and romance, there you go. It depends on how it's written, whether or not I like it, but that's what they need. genre and trope and everything. Okay. What is a Victorian lady's formula for love? Mix one brilliant noblewoman and her enigmatic protection officer. Add in a measure of danger and attraction. Heat over the warmth of humor and friendship. And the result is more than simple chemistry. It's elemental. Lady Violet Hughes is keeping secrets. First, she founded a clandestine sanctuary for England's most brilliant female scientists. Second, she's using her genius on a confidential mission for the crown. The biggest secret of all, her feelings for protection officer Arthur Neeland. I do like books that are historical fiction books where the women don't really have a voice, and like before the right to vote and everything like that, and to see them try to rise up and do that and support each other. I do like that. Again, depending on how it's written, but that's with everything. Solitary and reserved, Arthur learned the hard way to put duty first. But the more time he spends in the company of Violet and the eccentric club members, the more his best intentions go up in flames, literally. When a shadowy threat infiltrates Violet's laboratories, endangering her life and her work, scientist and bodyguard will find all their theories put to the test and learn that the most important discoveries are those of the heart. Sounds really sweet. So this is what I was drawn to. That means it obviously did not fulfill the color portion of the prompt. So I had to find a book that fit the color. Unfortunately, I did not. I ran out of time. I was starting to really hurt from being on my feet. My back was just, and hips, it was just bad. My mom went with me. She was ready to go. So one, I ran out of time. And two, every book I picked up did not have this warm gray color. It was either way too dark or way too light. It just, and not like a shade or two. I'm talking like a big drastic difference. So the book that I picked, so what I'll do with this one is this will go back into, because books get published every month, so this will go back in with all the other color postcards, so that I can draw it up at a later month, and hopefully there will be a book that was released, or maybe one that was checked out from the library if I get that again, that will be returned, and it will have this color on there. So I can still find a book somewhere. I'm sure one exists that has this shade. I just couldn't find it today because I ran out of time due to pain and someone else being with me, and I'm ready to get home. So the book that will take the place for that is called 13 Stories by Jonathan Sims. This is a horror. Going up, a dinner party is held in the penthouse of a multi-million-pound development. All the guests are strangers, even to their host, the billionaire owner of the building. None of them know why they were selected to receive his invitation. Whether privileged or deprived, they share only one thing in common. They've all experienced a shocking disturbance within the building's walls. By the end of the night, their host is dead, and none of the guests will say what happened. His death has remained one of the biggest unsolved mysteries until now. But are you ready for their stories? So, library book, check. Could not find a color, but because this book did not have that color, I did have to add a second book. So what am I going to do because this book does not have the color? I had to think about that, and I thought, that means adding on another book as a punishment. Again, it's fine. If I don't get to these books, it's just goes back to the library or back on my shelf if it's my own book, and I'll just can read it at a later point. No punishment for ever not in it from here on out. No punishment for never finishing my TBR. So hopefully I'll get to these. And then the book for the punishment for not finding the color is another horror book, and this one is called The Night Will Find Us, written by Matthew Lyons. I was just like, oh, okay, there's something about this cover that's just very intriguing to me. School's out for summer. I don't know what that means because the Salt Lake County Library, because it's Salt Lake County Library stickers covering that, and I wish they would put it at like the bottom where the synopsis is not. Let's see, 4 friends, a well-deserved camping trip, I'm guessing. Million-acre forest deep in the heart of somewhere that starts with an N, like maybe Nashville. Something erupts. Okay, here we go. An argument escalates into the unthinkable, leaving one of them dead and the killer missing. As darkness descends, and those left alive try to determine a course of action, the forest around them begins to change. In the morning, more of the group has vanished, and the path that led them into the woods is gone, as if consumed by the forest itself. Lost and hungry, the remaining friends set out to find help, only to realize that the forest seems to have other plans. A darker ancient horror lies dead and dreaming in a lake in the center of the woods, and it's calling to them. Meanwhile, deep in the trees, the killer is still at large, and one of the group's own has started to transform and warp into something other, something inhuman. Whoa, something that wants to feast. Okay, this is sounding more and more interesting. Banding together to survive, the friends soon begin to understand the true nature of the horror waiting for them in the Pine Barrens, and that not all of them will make it out alive. Okay, this sounds really good. This is like kind of starting to creep up to the top of my list of wanting to read. It sounds really good. Okay, so it's an additional book, and that is perfectly fine. Prompt number 6. Okay, I'm removing 8 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another double prompt. So we're up to 9 now. And this is Fright Time. So horror, mystery, thriller. And this is, let's see, Fright Time, adding a tally. And again, it doesn't matter if I don't complete all of these. This just narrows my huge TBR of unread books in my room down to more manageable to pick from. So it's no worries if I don't ever finish the TBRs. And this is on score number 25. So I don't mind getting a large TBR for the month. Oh, color. I almost forgot. So we need to pick what color is going to be on the book. Orange. Oh, that's good. A lot of, I think I have something that'll match that. So this one's a russet orange. So we landed on Fright Time again. So this is another horror mystery thriller, which means I added on another prompt because this is the second time landing on it, so it's a double prompt. Like a double roll, just adding on an extra prompt. The color that I ended up selecting for this one is called Russet Orange. I had a book in mind. This book that I'm about to show you popped into my mind, and it is a mystery. It's a cozy mystery, so it is a mystery, and this color is on there, so yay, I don't have to divide it. And the book that I selected is called Death Overdue by Allison Brook. This is book number 1 in a Haunted Library mystery series. So, as you can see, there are balloons back here, and they are pumpkin balloons, and they match. There's also a pumpkin bucket here, but that one does not really match. There's cookies. I would say some of the frosting, it's a little too dark, but definitely some of the shading on the balloon definitely matches this russet orange. Okay. It says, Carrie Singleton is just about done with Clover Ridge, Connecticut, until she's offered a job as the head of programs and events at the spooky local library, complete with its own librarian ghost. Her first major event is a program presented by a retired homicide detective, Al Buckley, who claims he knows who murdered Laura Foster, a much-loved part-time library aide who was bludgeoned to death 15 years earlier. As he invites members of the audience to share stories about Laura, he suddenly keels over and dies. The medical examiner reveals that poison is what did him in, and Carrie feels responsible for having surged forward with the program despite pushback from her director. Driven by guilt, Carrie's determined to discover who murdered the detective and convinced it's the same man who killed Laura all those years ago. Luckily for Carrie, she has a friendly, knowledgeable ghost by her side, but as she questions the shadows surrounding Laura's case, disturbing secrets come to light, and with each step Carrie takes, she gets closer to ending up like Al. Now it's do or die for Carrie in Death Overdue. So, sounds good. I do enjoy cozy mysteries, so I look forward to getting into that. All right. Number 7. And we're moving 7 spots for prompt number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Study time. Now, this one I do not need to add it on. It's would be like the triple prompt, but if I get this one another time, so where it's like a quadruple, then I have to add on another one. But we're okay. So, study time. So another library book, And let's see, this is on square number 2. Ooh, do I have to add one on there because I landed on that same square? I've got to double check. No. Okay, good. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, I'm not going to do that. All right, and study time, we need to add another tally to that. And this is getting very close. If I get 2 more tallies on study time, then we're adding. So it may end up being another add depending on how October, November goes. Okay, color for the other library books. So anywhere from 3 to 6 library books. This gray, or not gray, green. So green is number 7737. So I need to find a library book that has this green on there. So this is the 3rd time I landed on study time. So a 3rd library book. So as you can see, I'm already up to 6 library books. Right? Yes, because the 3 study time prompts, which means it's the 3 color prompts. Well, then I ended up with the punishment because I couldn't find a book in time to match the 1 color. So, is there an 8th book? That's the question. Because if I can't find a color, a book to match the color that I drew for study time, then that would be yes. But thankfully, I did find a book. So, for study time, the color that went with this 3rd round of that is number 7737, which is this kind of pretty green. Now, unfortunately, the book my eye was drawn to does not have this color. So, Someone Just Like You, written by Meredith Schorr, I'm guessing is how the last name is said. So, another romance. I am in the mood for romance books. It says, New Yorker Molly Bloom knows everything about her lifelong nemesis Jude Stark. With their families so close, they should have been best friends. Instead, she thinks he's a too charming slacker, and he thinks she's allergic to fun. After years of one-upping each other's pranks, chocolate-dipped cat treats are not as delicious as they appear. That sounds really gross. One high school joke went too far, and they stopped speaking completely. But now that they are supposed to help plan a massive party for their parents together, there's no better time to resume their war. And it is on. Only somewhere between all the sniping and harmless hijinks, a reluctant friendship develops, along with an unexpected spark of sexual tension. It might have to do with the fact she's been dating Jude lookalikes, and he's been dating Molly doppelgangers. Or the fact that neither of them is nearly as horrible as they thought. All Molly and Jude know is that they've mastered the art of hating each other. Falling in love, on the other hand, is a whole new battlefield. So it sounds really good. It does sound really good. Okay, so unfortunately, this green 7737 is not on the cover, but I did find a book that has this, and it is another romance, and I am very interested in this book because there's cats on the cover. And this is a cat Christmas cafe. She's wearing a green shirt. The shirt is a little darker, but actually, I mean, it's just like a shade or 2 darker, if that, but it's almost extremely spot on. It's very close. I mean, it looks like it matches the green up in the string of lights here, or in the tinsel hung above the window, but the ring light sure makes the green on the book look a lot darker than that. But within the lighting of the library, it was spot on. So I'm still going to count this one, especially since I'm home from the library. So, A Cat Cafe Christmas, written by Codi Gary. Veterinarian and animal lover Kara Ingalls needs a Christmas miracle. Opening the Meow and Forever Cat Cafe to find loving homes for adorable adoptable cats was a dream come true. But with more cats than customers, it's quickly turning into a nightmare. If Kara can't figure out some way to get the cafe out of the red, it won't last past the holidays. Marketing guru Ben Reese may be annoyingly smart and frustratingly bossy, but when he hatches a plan to put the cafe in the green by Christmas, Kara realizes that she'd be a fool to turn down his help. Okay, you're hearing Hobart and Max bark, but my mom is with them, so I think they're barking at kids out in the circle. Sorry, that's just what happens when you have dogs. And so what if he turns out to be an excellent problem solver and nerdy hot? He can't even handle fostering one little kitten. She needs to keep their relationship professional and focus on saving the cafe. But if Ben and Kara can set aside their differences and find homes for all the cats by Christmas, they might discover that, by risking their hearts, they'll have their own perfect holiday together. Sounds really cute. I am very happy there's going to be, sounds like a lot of cats in this. So, and I hope that the cat part does not let me down. I do want there to be a lot of cats. Hopefully the last two prompts. Prompt number 8. Moving 8 squares for prompt number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fright time. So this is the same situation. This is the third time this one's come up, so I'm good there. So we're good. Fright time, and this one is square number, fright time. Let's go ahead and add tally to fright time, and square number 10. All right, and kind of an olivey green, a light olive green. So number 383 is the color for the next horror mystery thriller book. So this is the third time I have now landed on Fright Time. So another horror, mystery, or thriller. I will have had to add on another prompt if I would have landed on it a fourth time, but thankfully I did not. So, spoiler alert. So, okay, so horror, mystery, or thriller. And the color that I'm supposed to find is this kind of light olivey green. 383 is the number. Horror, mystery, thriller. Yeah, I couldn't find one. I looked at I don't know how many, but I just could not find a horror, mystery, or thriller that had this shade on there. So, adding on another book as a prompt for a punishment. Not as a prompt, as a punishment. So, the horror, mystery, or thriller, all three of these are within that category. So, the one to go with the official prompt is The Stroke of Winter by Wendy Webb. I really enjoy Wendy Webb's writing. These are gothic horror, and I have been wanting to pick up a Wendy Webb book for a while. In the tourist town of Wharton, on the coast of Lake Superior, Tess Bell is renovating her old family home into a bed and breakfast during the icy dead of winter. As the house's restoration commences, a shuttered art studio is revealed. Inside are paintings Tess's late grandfather, beloved and celebrated artist Sebastian Bell, hid away for generations. But these appear to be the works of a twisted mind, almost unrecognizable as paintings she and others familiar with his art would expect. The sinister canvases raise disturbing questions for Tess, sparking nightmares and igniting in her an obsession to unearth the truth around their origins. What evil has been locked away for so many years? The ominous brush strokes scratching at the door and moving shadows begin to pull Tess further and further into the darkness. Sounds really good. So this one will go back into my box with all of these other note cards in there for a chance to find another book that'll fit with a different prompt better in the future. So the book that I selected to take place of the color prompt is a middle grade horror thriller, and that is Deep and Dark and Dangerous by Mary Downing Hahn. This cover gives me the creeps. Yeah, and it is a ghost story. It says it right there. Summer at the lake house with wonderful Aunt Dulcie and little Emma. Allie can't wait. Her mother, Claire, Dulcie's sister, says the lake is dangerous and refuses to let Allie go. But Allie prevails and takes off for an idyllic vacation. Except it isn't. A spiteful girl named Sissy spoils everything. She's bratty and hostile, and Emma imitates her. Sissy won't stop talking about something that happened years ago, when Dulcie and Claire were Allie's age, a drowning under mysterious circumstances. Allie thinks Sissy is trying to scare her with the ghost story, but secrets from the past rise relentlessly to the surface as Allie struggles to keep Sissy from destroying the people she loves. Mary Downing Hahn wrote What Happened to Helen, which I read and loved, and she's got a lot of middle grade horror thriller type books, and I think she does a really good job. So this takes place to the color. As you can see, that green, olive green, is not on here. which means a punishment book. I decided to go with the Fear Street. 1, it's short, and 2, I just enjoy reading the Fear Street books. So by R.L. Stine, this is The Sleepwalker. So again, the color is not in here, but it doesn't matter because this is the punishment read. It says, let's see. 1 week after she starts her summer job on Fear Street with old Mrs. Cotler, Myra Barnes begins to sleepwalk. How terrifying to wake up outdoors in the middle of the night and not know where she is. Myra becomes even more terrified when she discovers Mrs. Cotler may be a witch. Is the old woman casting a spell on Myra to make her sleepwalk? To add to Myra's horror, she is being followed by a menacing stranger who seems to recognize her, but she's never seen him in her life. Myra's sleepwalking is leading her into more and more peril. She soon realizes she must take action. She must find out what is happening to her, or she may never leave Fear Street alive. So, I have not read this particular Fear Street book before, so this will be a first time Fear Street read for me, and I am looking forward to that. So, okay. Okay, is this going to be the last prompt? Oh, that almost went out. That would have added another one, but we're safe, so I don't have to do that there. 9, there's still a lot of possibilities though. So we're moving 9 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 subjects. Okay, yes, this is the last official prompt for the September TBR round of the fall Cat-Walk TBR. So subjects. And this one is space number 19. So let's add that before I forget, because knowing myself, I certainly will. And for the prompt of subjects, now this one is a random word generator. So it's right here. Okay, so that's all the tallies for now. So I can set that book aside. Let's, where's my phone? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna pull up the random word generator. Okay, so opening the app, it came with mix, and let's go ahead and find the word certain. So I need to find a book that somehow has this word. That'll be fairly easy because it can be a character that has to be certain with the decision that they make or something like that. I'll figure that one out. So certain. All right, and the last task to do for the prompts is for the word certain. For subjects, I need a color. So, ooh, this is kind of like a mauvey purpley. Color is called Cactus Flower. So I do need to have a book that I can tie the word certain to it, as well as this cactus flower color. So we ended up with 9 prompts after all the doubles, the double prompts, the double roll, the double with the dice popping out of the thing. Ended up with 9 prompts, but how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books. So, because some of them did get split into 2 different prompts, one for the color, one for the actual prompt, and 2 punishment books. So let's talk about this last prompt. I will say, thankfully, I was able to find a book that not only fit the prompt, but the color. So the prompt is a random word generator, and the random word that came up was certain. Okay, so I had to think. I was thinking something to do with more of like decision making, life, things like that within the characters. So I had to find a book. The color that I picked for this one, or that I drew from the stack, was called Cactus Flower. So it's kind of this mauvey purple, really pretty color. So I thought, okay, let me find a book that has this color first, and then see if it fulfills the random word, which is certain. And it did. So the book is called A Sisterhood of Secret Ambitions, written by Sheena Boekweg. Now Sheena is a local author to Utah. She actually lives, I live pretty close to her. So very nice. I have met her several times. Very nice woman. So a Sisterhood of Secret Ambitions. And as you can see, there's a bunch of flowers on the cover behind the lady. And there are these little flowers like up in this corner here throughout that like are spot on to this color. And these flowers, so there are flowers right here. This particular flower is slightly behind her head, or her shoulder, her arm here. So they're all over, and it definitely matches it as spot on. All right. Now, I'm going to read the synopsis, and then let's see if you can figure out why I say this fulfills the prompt for certain. The synopsis reads, behind every powerful man is a trained woman, and behind every trained woman is the society. It started with tea parties and matchmaking, but is now a country-wide secret. Gossips pass messages and recipes. Spinsters train to fight, and women work together to grant safety to abused women and children. The society is more than oaths. It is sisterhood and purpose. Okay, you're certain in your purpose. Are you certain in your sisterhood? The fact that they pass messages and recipes, they have to be certain that they're coding it right so that only certain people will be able to decipher it. Certain in their fighting abilities, things like that. So I do say this works. Continuing on with the synopsis, it says, in 1927, 17-year-old Elsie is dropped off in a new city with 3 other teenage girls who have each trained since childhood to become the wife of a powerful man. And when they learn that their next target is earmarked to become president, their mission becomes more than just an assignment. This is a chance at the most powerful position in the society. But as these ambitious girls compete for the heart of a boy who has been given everything, Elsie starts to wonder what would happen if the name on that future ballot was hers. And sometimes you can question your certainty. It starts to falter and crumble a little bit. So yeah, I say it definitely works. I've been eyeing this one for a while, and so I really do want to get to this one sooner rather than later. So those are all of the books. Let me see if I can even hold up the stack for like a couple of seconds. Sitting on my leg, and it's already almost up to my shoulder. Whoa. So here's the books. There you go. There we go. Barely fits in frame. I'm going to hit my head if they start to fall. So, yes, those are the books. Let me know, have you read any of these books or books from any of these authors? Let me know. What did you think of the fall version of the Cat-Walk TBR board game? Yes, what are your thoughts? Let me know, what are you most excited to read this coming season? Are you definitely a seasoned mood reader? Will you be reading mostly horror, mystery, and thriller and stuff like that? I don't know. Just talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.